The Department of Homeland Security continues to review the possibility of extending parole authority to Chinese visitors. Just last week, DHS Secretary Janet Napolitano announced that Russia was granted parole authority, which means visitors from that country can visit the island. A forum held at the Hyatt today brought hundreds of the island's government and business leaders, as well as potential investors, together to discuss not only the history and current status of the Guam CNMI Visa Waiver Program, but challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Governor Eddie Calvo's chief policy advisor, Arthur Clark, said the forum helped accelerate the team's initiative and show the progress that has been made over the more than 4-year process.
You have a lot of people who are ready to invest, but investors like to see certainty in economic conditions, and or they like to see movement in a positive economic direction. And so I think this is important to show everybody all the effort that's going into that.
As we reported, a delegation recently returned from the nation's capital where they pushed for China and Russia to be included in the Visa Waiver Program. GHRA President Mary Tory stressed that stakeholders must take note of opportunities and challenges to corner the market.
In the last year, we've seen, I think Saipan has about 12% of the market is from Russia, and so that's an opportunity in itself. If you compare it to our Korean market, we only get about 10% in our market is our Korean tourists. So if we have that same growth, similar to Saipan, where we can have a regional approach, then we can share in some of those visitors or even grow and expand on that and help CNMI along the way as well.
Tory says the main goal is to get China and Russia on a permanent status. If and when that happens, she says airlines will see real opportunities to begin regular flights, but airline capacity will be the #1 challenge. Other challenges include scheduling for visitors during peak and non-peak seasons for hotel capacity, language barriers, and branding. Clark adds that parole authority adds a level of uncertainty for investors. He says parole authority is totally discretionary for Homeland Security, meaning they can reject or withdraw the authority anytime.
But administratively, bureaucratically, there would be more steps they would have to go through. So it gives anybody who's thinking about investing on Guam and putting a hotel up an added measure of security if the tourists are given full visa waiver status.
As for jobs, Clark estimates that for every 250,000 Chinese tourists, it will result in close to 4,000 additional jobs on Guam. As for Russia, he doesn't know the exact figures, but is working with the Guam Visitors Bureau and the Marianas Visitors Authority to learn more. In the next decade, he estimates a total local spend increase between $1 to $2 billion going directly into tourism, with a 1.75 multiplier for Guam's tourism satellite account that would bring in $1.8 billion to $3.6 billion of additional economic activities to the island. The next step is appealing to different countries, organizations, and private institutions to solicit for support and get their message across to our nation's capital. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Ken Quintaniza.